Hello students, myself Mr. Harish Sadashiv Motekar. I am your subject teacher for the subject of cryptography and network security. In our last lecture, we have seen block cipher principles and Fistel cipher structure. Okay, so that things we will apply in our today's lecture, that is data encryption standard. So let's start with the learning objectives. And the learning objectives for the day is the student will be able to understand the concept of data encryption standard. Student will be able to understand the use of Fistel structure, and the last one, student will be able to understand the concept of permutation and substitution. So these were the learning objectives. Now let's start with the topic DSE. DSE stands for Data Encryption Standard. As we know that it is a block cipher algorithm, so it uses the blocks of the data as input or as a plain text and provide us the output in the form of blocks as well. The size of the input, that is plain text, and output, that is ciphertext, will be same. In the most of cases we use 64-bit plain text as input. So for the today's lecture, the data size will be 64-bit. Now for encrypting or decrypting the data we need a key, so the key size will be 64-bit. Actually we use 54 bits as a key and rest 8 bits are the priority bits. Now as DSE is based on cipher structure, so Fistel cipher structure, so it perform the operation in 16 rounds for the 64-bit data. So each round has a particular sub key, and the size of the sub key will be 48 bit for the each round, and after the whole process will get a ciphertext of the 64 bit. So let's start with the topic. Okay, so the next is the block diagram of the data encryption standard, that is DSE. So we can easily understand the working. Here we have a data that is 64-bit plain text, and we have a key that is 64-bit key. Now what we have to do, we have to apply that 64-bit data to the first round, and here we will use the first key, that is 64 that is again 48-bit key. Now how to get that 48-bit key? So for that we will apply the 64-bit data of the key to the permutation choice 1 operation. It is provide us the 56-bit of key. Now we'll apply the circular left shift on that data on that key. After that we'll perform the permuted choice 2 operation. Here the input will be 56-bit and output will be 48-bit. So the first key, that is sub key 1, will be of 48 bits. So for each round we need a key, and size of the each sub key will be 48 bits. Now the output of the first round will be applied to the second round, and again 56-bit key of the first round will be applied to the second round. Again we'll apply the same process, and after 16 rounds we'll get a 32-bit swap data that we will again we'll apply the final permutation, and after final permutation we'll get the output, that is 64-bit ciphertext. So this is the whole structure of DSE. Okay, now we'll understand the working of rounds. So this is the working of the round function. In each round we have to follow these steps. Okay, so we can easily understand it has two parts. First one is the plain text and second one is the key. So in plain text, first we have to apply the permutation that is given here, that is initial permutation. Okay, after initial permutation we'll get two halves of the plain text, that is left one and right one, and each will be of the 32 bits. This is left one and this is right one, and both have the size, same size, that is 32 bit. Now what we have to do, we have to apply the right one to the permutation function. Here actually what we are doing, we are expanding the data, so it is also called expansion or permutation. So the after expansion will get the 48 bit data, means the input for the expansion or permutation was 32 bit and output will be 48 bits. Now what next, we have to perform an XOR operation. For that, the first input is our 48 bit output of the expansion, and second will be the key, that is key 1 for the first round. But how to get that key? So let's start with the key part. Here we have 56 bit key, that is again permutated into two parts after the permuted choice 1 round. Here in the permuted choice 1 round, we apply 64 bit as input and we get the 56 bit as output. Okay, after that this 56 bit output is divided into two parts again of the 28 bit of each. Okay, so each bit each part have the same size, that is 28 bits. Okay, now we apply the circular left shift on the both parts, that is left one and right one. Okay, so we are applying left shift operation here. Actually what we do, what we are doing, we are we are applying the circular left shift on the each 20 bit data. Okay, after that we'll get the data that is rearranged. Okay, now we, in the next step, we combine both the 28 bit data to find out the next sub key, that is key 1. So in that permutation we actually reducing the size of the data, as we have the 56 bit as input, means left one and right one each will be of 28, that is total is 56. So 56 bit is input and the output will be 48 bits. So we are reducing the size actually, and for this operation we need a predefined transposition table. Okay, after that we get a key of 48 bit. Now we have input of 48 bit and a key that is of 48 bit. Now we are XORing that. After XOR operation we'll get output, that is again 48 bit. Okay, next step is what, this is a substitution or choice 2. Here what we are doing, again we are applying the 48 bit input and which is producing the 32 bit output. So again here the reduction operation is performed, and for this we use the substitution boxes or S boxes. Total 8 boxes are required for the 64 bit plain text data, 32 bit data. After that 32 bit input is applied to the permutation function. Here again we use transposition table and we get output, that is 32 bits. Again in this permutation what we are doing, we are just rearranging the data. Okay, now that data is applied to another XOR function, but the second input for this XOR function will be the initial left part of the plain text. Okay, so initial left part of the plain text and the permuted output of the permutation function, both will be XORed and will get a output, that is R1. Okay, so this is the R1 of the first round. We have L1, that is actually initially was R1 and now become the L1, and so we have L1 R1. Now the keys The first part of the key will be this, means after the left circular shift will get the output, that output will be used as a C1 or the left part of the key, and similarly we'll use the right part of the key from the second part. So this was the working of the round. This is a single round. We have to perform 16 round like this, means in each round we have to perform whole this process. So what is so let's see the next. Okay, now now we understand the each part of the diagrams. Okay, so initial permutation. What is initial permutation? In initial permutation we apply a 64-bit input to a permutation function operation. Here we use a transposition table which apply us to which help us to rearrange this whole data and provide us a 64-bit output. Okay, this thing we have to apply initially. Okay, and this provide us we can say a rearranged data. Okay, so we have to perform this operation two times. So initial permutation means in the beginning, and the final permutation means at last. From the initial permutation we apply plaintext as input, and and in the final permutation we get the output as ciphertext. Okay, so we apply this operation two times, and for both the operation we have two transposition tables. So these are the transposition tables for the initial permutation and final permutation. Okay, these tables are fixed, means predefined. We don't have to bother about these tables. Okay, now we can see that we have to apply initial permutation here, where we will use first table, and will use the final permutation here, means will use that table here. Okay, so this is the actual working. Now permutation choice 1. So let's go to the first part again. Okay, permutation choice 1 is the table where we applied the 64-bit key here, and after permutation choice 1 will get the output of the 56-bit key. Okay, so this is the permutation table, and for that we need a table, that is transposition table 1, or permutation for transposition table for keys. Okay, it is a 64-bit table. Now left circular shift. What is left circular shift? As we have seen in the diagram of round 1, we have to perform left circular shift operation on the data. So what is left circular shift? Here we have total 16 rounds. As we know that we have 16 rounds, and for each round what we have to do, we have to perform the left circular bit. But for first round we have to perform only one bit shift, means only one bit will be shifted towards the left side. This will be the left circular. In second round again only one bit. In third round we will shift 2 bits. Fourth round 2 bits, fifth round 2 bits, sixth round 2 bits, and so on. So in the same way we'll apply in first, second, 9th and 16th round only one bit will be shifted towards left, and rest of the rounds and in the rest of the rounds we'll apply the 2 bits to be shifted towards the left. Okay, so this is applied on the 28-bit key. Okay, so this is the left shift circular. Now where we are applying this left shift circular? So in the left shift here left shift circular will be circular operation will be applied here on the C1 and D1, means the data after first permuted choice 1 will get 28 bits sub key, means part of the sub key, that on that data will apply this circular left shift. Okay, now we have to apply, we have to perform permuted choice 2. See, after permutation, means after combining the 28 bit data of the key, we have to apply permuted choice 2 operation here, so that we'll get the output of the 48 bits. So input will be 56 and output will be 48. That operation will perform using this transposition table. So this transposition table will use for the again permuted choice 2 operation. And this table again, it is a predefined table. See, we are using many transposition tables, so please don't get confused in the transposition table. Each transposition table have the different values and that are predefined. Okay, so next is substitution process. Okay, as we know that we have to perform substitution on the data of the data. Okay, so let's check the diagram once again. Okay, see, we have to perform substitution here. Okay, here, where here in using S boxes. So we use the S boxes here. The output of the S box will be 32 bit when the input was 48 bit. Okay, so here we are applying the S boxes. So the input of the each S box will be 6 bit and we have total 8 X boxes. So 6 into 8, that is 48 bits. So the 48 bit input will be used and it will provide the output of 32 bits. So the each X box will have 6 bit input and 4 bit output. Okay, okay, so the operation of each S box will be understand using this rows and will be so working of the S box. Let's start with the working of the X box. Okay, suppose we have a X box which has the 6 input. So that we can consider an example, that is 1 0 0 1 1 0. That is a binary number of the 6 bit. Now the first and last bit of this number will be considered as rows and the rest of the bits will be considered as column. Now as we have 1 and 0, means first and last bit, total 2 bits are there, so that the 2 raised to 2, that will be 4, so the number of rows will be 4. And we have 0 0 1 1, total 4 bits, so 2 raised to 4, that is 16. So 0 to 15, that is 16 columns. Okay, so we get a table. Okay, so the we have table, means X boxes, X box table, that is that have the 0 to 3, that are 4 rows and 16 columns. Okay, now the first and last bit will be used as a row and rest of the bits will be used as a column. Now see, the combination of 1 and 0 will be considered as 2 in the binary, means 1 0 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1. This is the combination, means 0 1 2 3. So 1 0 will be equal to the 2, it shows the second row, and 0 0 1 will be equal to the 3, that shows the third column. So we have to check second row and third column of the permutation table. So this is the again transposition table for the Xbox one. So we have to check what second row and third column, that will be this 8, means second row and third column. So the value of this will be 8. Okay, so this is the output of the Xbox one, means again 8 we have to convert into the binary. So the binary equivalent binary of the 8 will be 1 0 0 0. Now this is the output of the first S box. So we can see that we had an input 1 triple 0. We had an input 1 triple 0, sorry, 00 1 1 0, means 6 bit as input, and now we get 1 triple 0 as the output. Okay, so that this is the output of the first S box. Similarly, we have to perform same operation on all the S boxes. Means we have total 8 X boxes, and for each S box we have a S box table. This is given here: S box 2 and X box 3, S box 4 and X box 5, S box 6 and X box 7, S box 8. We have total 8 X boxes, and same process we have to apply for each S box, and we'll get the 8 4-bit outputs. Total 8 4-bit outputs. So it will be 32-bit output of the process. Now what we have to do, we have to use the 32-bit output of the X box, and we have to apply the permutation function. And for that also we need to use a transposition table. So what we are actually doing, we are rearranging the data of the of that 32 bits, and we are getting a rearranged data output. Means we have to use this permutation table. It is total 32 bits. It have total 32 bits, and the position of each bit will be given here. We have to just rearrange. Means the 16 bit of the output will be placed first, the 7th bit of the output will be placed second, 20th bit will be 20th bit will be placed at third position, and so on. Means this is the transposition table we have to apply on the 32-bit output of the S boxes. Okay, we can see here this 32-bit output of the S box again permuted here. So we are permutation, we are performing permutation here, and we are rearranging the data using the transposition table, and again we'll get the data output of 32 bits. Now what is next, we have to apply that output on the XOR function, and with that we'll using our initial left 32 bits to the XOR operation. It means left part of the plain text. Okay, so after that we'll get output, that is R1, again 32 bits, and this is right one, and for left one we are using the this will be the R2, this will be the R2, and we'll using the R1 as L2. So R1 will be used as L2, and the XOR of L1 and output of the permutation, that will be used as R2. Okay, so this is the output of the first plain text, first round output. This is the output of the first round. Okay, now after 16 round we'll get the cipher text. Okay, so total 16 rounds are there. Okay, so this was the DES, whole working of the DES. We try to explain each and everything. We have seen so many transposition table for each operation. Now after all these things we have to solve some questions. So the questions are, the first question is, what is the block size of the DES? What is the cipher key size in the DES? And what is the round key size in the DES? So first question carrying 3 questions, and the answer is too much easy. So second question is, why does the DES function needs an expansion and permutation? Expansion, permutation. So second question again very easy. Our third question is the answers of following questions about S boxes in DES. Means we have to find out the answers of these X boxes. And the first one is, show the result of the binary number 110111 through the S box 3. Means what we have to do, we have to apply the permutation table of S box 3 to find out the answer. And similarly, show the result of passing 001100 through the S box 4. Okay, so these were the questions. Please try to solve these questions. and thanks for watching the video. Okay, thank you so much.